Well, first off, I want to thank everybody for coming. For those who are down at practice, you can see it's an energetic group. I think we've had some really, really good practices to start the season so far. We have a lot of young guys in the mix, a lot of new guys in the program. But we've actually moved along at a pretty quick rate, considering. I think our practices have been significantly more competitive than recent years. I think there's been a higher level of athleticism. We were able to add more length, more size, more depth at each position, which I think has helped our practices be more competitive and just be better practices. With that said, though, we have a lot of new guys in the program, so we're making a lot of these young mistakes. We're okay with it right now because of how hard everybody's playing, but we need these younger guys to clean their mistakes up. I think the sooner that they clean them up, the quicker we'll be able to reach what our potential is. And obviously, as a coach, that's your job, is to try to get your team to reach the potential. So we got a lot of young guys. There's a lot of enthusiasm in the gym, there's a lot of energy every day. I really like this group. They're really unselfish. They're working together. They're really bought into our philosophy at such an early stage. A big thing we talking about with this year for us to reach our potential and be a good team in the Atlantic 10 was we got to defend and rebound better than we did last year. I think offensively we'll be fine. I think it's the defensive side where we have to really tighten things up. And again, we have a philosophy in our program right now. It's just 2 more stops. Statistically, we broke everything down that if we were able to get 2 more stops a game last year, we would have won significantly more games. It's also the case on the offensive side, getting 2 more offensive rebounds a game. But I think the kids are working really hard at it. We've made some adjustments defensively on how we guard certain things that I think is helping this group. Offensively, I think it's going to be a little bit different than maybe what you've seen. I think you're going to start to see more of the development of our philosophy of how fast and how aggressively we want to play. Last year we had Ovi as such a main scorer and such a focus to our offense, but the ball was slowed down. It was held a little bit. We got more scoring out of him through free throws, where right now the ball just moves a lot more. We have 5 guys on the floor, really balanced, and I think it'll be one of those teams that's a more balanced scoring team because we're playing so fast. Guys aren't holding it. We're really sharing the basketball. And we have more depth, which will allow us to play faster on offense and play harder on defense because I really believe we have a group that we can rotate guys in with a next man up mentality.
Coach, what do you see Dominique McKoy's role being like this season?
Damo's doing a great job right now. I mean, to have a senior, we have one senior who's got so much experience. He has the ability now to play more at his natural position because of the additions of Jordan Robinson and Tyshawn Powell. It allows Damo to play at his true 4-man position. There's at times we'll use him as a 5 as well, just as a matchup problem because he can really put the ball down. But Damo's been playing really well for us, and obviously to have the ability to mix up our matchups, mix up our lineups. He may start, he may come off the bench, whatever it may be, but he's got a lot of experience for us, so he's doing a good job.
He's definitely kind of a unique character on and off the court. What kind of leadership does he provide? Is he a loud guy, quiet guy, cerebral?
Yeah, Damo's a real quiet guy. I think Damo leads more with his actions. Damo's like one of those lunch pail guys. He comes in, man, and no matter what's going on, for those 2.5 hours that we're on the floor, man, he gives his great effort every single night, just like he does in games. He plays extremely hard. He's very consistent with his effort and how hard he plays. I'm trying to get him to be a little bit more vocal as a leader, to give us a little bit more with that. He's getting a little bit better at it, but he's a pretty shy kid when it comes to that stuff.
That kind of brings me into the next question. You had Ovi, who was so vocal last year and so willing to talk to the team.
And the refs and me and the scores. Yeah.
But this year, your 2 leaders on the team are going to be DC and Dom, and they're 2 quiet people. Who are you going to put?
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, Ovi was absolutely the alpha dog, in his approach and his mentality, and sometimes he couldn't control it. But it's a different type of leadership that we have this year. Jeremiah Jones has been a fantastic leader. Like, Jeremiah is a tough kid. He's a smart basketball player. He's got a high IQ. He echoes everything that we ask him to do. So he's been the leader with the vocalness on the floor. Micah and DC have kind of been the leaders as the point guards on the floor, and Damo with his experience. But that's one of the things that this group is going to have to. You come in and you watch us practice, you see, wow, it's a group that's really bought into each other. It's a group that really shares the ball. But who is the one leader? And I don't think there's going to be one leader this year. I think, especially the way we're going to play, hopefully with the ability to play 9-10 deep, that it's going to be more of a team concept and a team approach where next man up mentality and guys really just stepping up for each other.
Do you have an idea what your lineup looks like?
Not really. You know, we're going to play with a couple things with our scrimmage. You know, I think if I had to be called on it right now, probably DC, Micah, Jeremiah, LG, and then either Damo or Jordan Robinson right now. But like I said, we have a lot of depth, and I could flip it and start Eric James at one wing, and you know, Jordan Stevens and Micah and two other forwards. I really could. So we've been playing with a lot of different lineups in practice.
What has LG shown to get into the lineup there that he's penciled in as I know I saw last
LG's been phenomenal.
Okay.
LG has blossomed. His body has blossomed. His confidence has blossomed. He's shooting the heck out of the basketball right now. He's consistently been one of our best players every day in practice with his versatility playing inside and out.
So he's penciled in as a starter at this point?
Yeah, I would say so.
Jeremiah and DC, feels like those guys have been here for ages and they're just, you know, junior. What have you seen in their progression over the last couple of years?
Leadership, a lot of leadership, maturity. You know, and finally for the first year, we have guys on our program that actually know the system and know the drills and know what our philosophy is and know what's okay to do and what's not okay to do. And that's really important. A lot of people don't understand that when there's a changeover in a coaching staff or a philosophy. It takes time to establish, you know, what is, you know, okay in our program, is what's the culture in our program. And not to say that it was bad culture prior, it's just different. And what's accepted is going to be different. So to finally have guys that have been here for 2 years, that's huge. And we're starting to build the program right now. Like we have finally laid a foundation. This is almost like year one because we have a couple of our recruiting classes in and guys understanding what we have to do. And those guys have done a fantastic job, you know, with their leadership, making adjustments. Jeremiah has really taken on a leadership and a defensive role. We've taken some pressure off DC and allowing him to play off the ball a little bit as a shooter. And he's been excelling in that role, and he's been very accepted of moving off the ball a little bit. And like I said, it's just a good group. I really like the group. Guys have really bought into what we're trying to do.
Will we see Micah more on the point this year?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, you'll see him on the ball, and you'll see him off the ball. You'll see him doing both.
What
You
is,
know-
sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
What has Micah done in the offseason to, I've seen it in your comments previous, but what has he done in the offseason that, not that he wasn't just a three-point shooter, that he was just a three-point shooter last year, but that he becomes more of a dual threat where he can dribble and shoot?
Yeah, well, he obviously he's a gym rat. He's worked on all aspects of his game, but he's worked on his ball handling skills from the point guard position. You know what a lot of people don't realize is it was so blown up to everybody that he was the best three-point shooter in the country, which he was, which was great. But he was also one assist away from leading the country in assist to turnover. Like he was our best decision maker by far. So we as a staff, as I broke things down through the summer, having the ball in Micah's hands, not only gets him shots because he's got it in his hands, he can make the decision whether he's shooting or not, but also the decisions that he makes are better for our team and makes us a much more efficient basketball team. So I don't think he had to work as much as a lot of other people did. We saw him every day. We knew what he was and his ability. He's just an all-around really, really good basketball player.
Just to go back to your previous point about this being year one of you having a team full of guys that you recruited, it seems pretty obvious in your expressions and mannerisms that you're very excited about going into the season. How excited are you to get after an A-10 play after you guys had some good wins against St. Louis?
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting this time of year. As a basketball coach, I grew up playing the game. This time of year is always really exciting to me. You know, watching last night wasn't overly exciting watching the Knicks get pounded, but, you know, the Knicks are playing on TV. It's on. It's ready. I like the group. We're not ready to walk on the court right now and beat Atlantic 10 teams right now. We have a long way until we play those teams, so we're going to get better. We're going to get a lot better from where we're at right now. But I like the energy level. I really like our depth. We didn't have depth in the past 2 years. We didn't have length in the past 2 years. We're going to start being able to play the way we want to play. And like I said, that takes some time when you're trying to build a program and finally having 2 recruiting classes under our belt. We have depth. We got guys sitting out that are going to be good players for us in the future. So I think we really kind of laid the foundation, and we're going to have this group going forward for the next couple of years. So that's what's exciting. I'm excited about the season starting. I will be a grumpy coach once the games start, of course, because then we really get dictated on what's going on. But we got to improve. We know that we're so far away from what we need to be, but we're on target too. I think we're fine. We're not trying to rush things. We're just trying to do things right.
I don't know whether you're ready to say this yet, but are you looking at Mike as a potential, the primary point guard, or is it just a kind of a change of pace type thing with being DC?
No, I think he'll start the year on the ball as a primary point guard with the ability to play DC, Jordan Stevens, and Desmond Ridenhour. So we have options now.
How does it change DC's game or his role?
It's helped him a lot. He's been fantastic. I thought DC's had a great preseason. He's really shooting the basketball well. It's taken away some of the burden on him, some of the decisions making that really affected him in the Atlantic 10 because of his size. I think it's allowed for him to see the game a little bit easier, And then Micah is such a good passer; he puts the ball in your hands.
We learned last month about the cancer that Colter been dealing with.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him through that whole process?
Probably the most mentally toughest human being I've ever been around in my life. The way he handled it from day one, it was never a why me or felt sorry for himself. When something like that happens, you have the right to. He just approached it very much businesslike, professionally. He knew he had the support of his family at home and his family here as a team. But what he went through, I'm not sure I could have handled it as well as he did. Never once asked for anything. Just really approached it like, okay, this is what it is, and I'm going to beat it. And he did. Knock on wood. Dr. Marks was outstanding and took him under his wing, and everybody in our program here, from president on down, supported him. But it wasn't anything we did. And I saw some of those days where he was tired coming back from his radiation treatment, but you know what, man, he'd go back in the gym and work out and shoot and try to tell him the rest, and he had his plan and he approached it that way. So he's a pretty special kid. It's been documented what else he's been through with his family life, and Derrick is going to be a really successful human being just because of his approach and his mental toughness.
Has it affected his preparation for the fall and all? Not that that's the important part of the story. But.
Not that I've seen. I mean, if anything, it's helped our team. I think it was a reality check for everybody in the locker room when I told the guys of Derrick's situation, and I think we all came together to support him. But I think it put a lot of things in perspective for a young group, for a young bunch of guys, and then to see him how he handled it so maturely, I think it kind of woke everybody up and understand really what this is all about. And hopefully everybody cherishes the opportunities that we get. I cherish the opportunity. I'm the head basketball coach at Duquesne. Like, how lucky am I? And then these guys getting to play the game they love without having things like Derrick had to deal with pop up. I think we've all learned from that.
How did you present to the team?
Well, first, we knew about it for a while, and Derrick and I and his family and some administrators here, we knew about it. And then we just felt that it was at the appropriate time that it needed to be told, because he was going to need support and guys were going to have to figure out what's going on with him. And we kind of brought everybody in as a group into the locker room, and we discussed, what he had, what was the approach to how it was going to be dealt with, and bottom line that he's going to need support all the way around. And guys, everybody stepped up, everybody. His teammates were there for him. And Derrick never asked for anything, and he wouldn't ask for anything. And all he said was, I think in the locker room was, please don't share it with anybody else. He wanted to keep it within our family, and everybody respected that and did that. And, our training staff was outstanding. My assistant coaches, making sure that he got, to his treatments and back, and, the university giving him housing and feeding him and allowing him to heal. And everybody did that. His teammates were here to support him the whole time, too.
And that pulled the team closer together?
I think so, sure. Yeah.
Other than LGU wasn't here today, it looks like you got a pretty healthy squad. Are you anticipating having a healthy group heading into the fall?
I hope. Listen, that's on Vic. No, we've been relatively healthy, knock on wood. I mean, obviously it's a big part of everybody's success is staying healthy. We're only going to play 11 scholarship guys this year. Renee Castro and Marquel Jackson are going to be sitting out redshirting via transfer rules. So obviously staying healthy will be important to us. But again, I feel for the first time that we have some depth in the guard spot. We have some depth in the forward position. It's very different from last year where we really felt we only had 2.5 forwards that were really able to play, and we're shuffling Damo and Ovi in, and it wasn't fair to those guys, never getting a break and practicing every day. And LG was a kid. But now LG's more mature. Damo's a senior. We have Jordan. We have Tyshawn, Darius. We have a lot of bodies we can throw in there this year. So I think it's going to help us play the way we want to play.
Where was LG today?
LG had a death in the family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he left late last night. His uncle passed away. So he'll rejoin us Saturday.
Can you compare this building process with what you did in Brooklyn? Are there any similarities between the two?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. And patience is being one of them. You know, we have to do this right. You know, we're not going to try to quick fix it. I think we finally got at that stage where we established a foundation. I think I've said that word a couple of times today. We've established a foundation. We have two recruiting classes, legit recruiting classes here, and now it gets built from here. You know, there's youth involved, so there's going to be mistakes involved this season, but the key is getting these guys experience because we have this whole team back. We have this whole team back again next year, you know, minus Damo. But it's really important that the foundation gets laid now with this group that's going to be here. Like I said, you know, accountability, paying attention to detail, you know, the defensive philosophy, vocabulary, all that stuff is so important for us to build it from this point forward. But I think we've done a good job recruiting. I like the kids we have in the program moving forward right now.
Was year 3 important in Brooklyn? It seemed like the first 2 were rough years. In year 3.
Well, year 3 in Brooklyn, we made it to the conference semifinals.
Okay.
We had a young team. We were up 12 in the second half with about 10 minutes to go in the conference semifinals with a really young team. And we wound up losing that game because we made some young mistakes. So, I mean, year 3, it's, you know, yeah, it's important. Every year is important. You know, do I know we're going to get to the conference semifinals right now in year 3? No, I hope we get to that position. But we focus more just one day at a time right now. And there are some similarities, but there are a lot of differences as well.
You have depth all around, including on the practice squad with the 2 guys that are redshirting. What is it? Does it help you out in practice with 2 guys with that caliber of talent? You know,
Yeah.
kind of biding time even though it's a year.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, there's more competitiveness in the gym. There's more Atlantic 10 players in the gym than we've had in the past. You know, your point guard on your second team, per se, is Renee Castro every day, who, you know, I think is a phenomenal basketball player. So he's helping us get better every day by challenging us every day. And same with Marquel. I mean, I think it's great for Marquel having a year that he gets to sit out and learn the system. It's going to help him, but it's also helping us that we have the depth and ability. Like and to be honest, his days of practice, we just flip guys over like crazy, you know. So we're not even really playing starters against non-starters. We're just making it as competitive as can be.
And then the freshmen, a couple of guys that look like they probably get some good time in James and Powell. What have you seen from them early in practice?
Yeah, I mean, both guys bring great length, you know, which is what we really needed in this league. Both are great basketball IQs for young guys. Both a little inconsistent with understanding how hard they have to play every single day at this level, but they both bring some great talent and great ability. I mean, Tyshawn Powell is our leading rebounder. We chart rebounds every day in practice, keep a cumulative list throughout the season. He's been our leading rebounder as a freshman. Eric James has the ability to do some things that the wings that we've had in the past couple of years haven't been able to do just because his length and his shooting and his athleticism. Both those guys are really doing well. Both those guys are going to play a lot as freshmen. We're going to move their careers on quickly because we have to get them experience. Tyshawn's been, at times, one of our best forwards with his athleticism, his quickness, and his ability to pass the ball and play off the bounce. So I think both those guys are going to see significant time this year as long as they can continue to move it forward, get better, and understand and get consistent with their motor, or obviously understanding how hard they got to play all the time.
Looking a little bit further ahead, it was announced in the offseason that Duquesne will be hosting the A-10 championship in 2017 in Console. What kind of recruiting tool is Console, first off, and what kind of exposure will that offer for
Yeah, I think it's great for everybody. I think it's great for the city. I think it's great for our program, obviously, to host it. Consol's been a great partner with us. It's our second home across the street. We have our own locker room in there. We have access to it all the time to take recruits around. I think it's a great venue to host a conference tournament. You know, in the Atlantic 10, we're such a high-profile league right now that you want to be playing in one of the top buildings in the country. And Brooklyn's great, and especially for me, I love going back, and playing in Brooklyn puts us in New York in a great stage. But I think for that year that we leave Brooklyn to come to Pittsburgh, we couldn't get any better. I think it's great, not just for, I think it's for the league. I think once people get out here and see what Pittsburgh has to offer, you know, the hotels, the culture, the theater, the restaurants, the casinos, everything is here. I think people are going to want to come back here more and more. But it's absolutely helping us with recruiting, getting involved with kids, being able to talk to them. And again, it's our job to get our team, I don't know how many years it is down the line. I'm very bad at math. But, you know, hopefully we'll have our team really reaching our peak at that point as well.
We have players out here too. So.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks, guys.
Damo, you're the lone senior here. What kind of role are you taking on this year?
Just trying to be a leader and give everybody my experiences and just help all the younger guys to like get through everything and motivate them every day. That's basically it.
Are you having to adjust to be a little more vocal? Coach said you're a pretty quiet guy at the core.
No, I'm not very quiet on the court, but yeah, I have to be like more vocal. Coach been telling me like want more out of me every day, just to keep giving more and more and more. So just being a better leader.
Is it a different feel without Obi there? Just hearing him all the time?
Yeah, it's definitely a different feel. Ovi did a lot for us as far as like leadership and having a voice out there on the court, but I think we're adjusting very well. I think Damo stepped up and DC and Micah have stepped up as well, and you know, I think we're adjusting to it.
How's this? Go ahead.
Sorry. Dom, last year you and I kind of had a conversation, and we were talking about how Ovi was Batman and you were going to be Robin, and it was at the end of the Dark Knight Rises and you were going to come up from the ashes and like take over as Robin. Have you kind of like thought about that at all this summer? Not obviously not that reference, but have you thought about just kind of becoming the leader for this team?
No, not really. I haven't thought of it like that because like we got so many pieces this year. Like it wasn't like last year. We was talented last year, but we didn't have as much pieces as we have this year. So we basically just relied on Ovi to like do a lot for us. So like this year we got a lot of pieces like these other three guys up here. And Jordan Stevens, Dez, J-Rob, he'll be playing this year. LG, he stepped up big this year. So it's like way more pieces. So I don't have to like step outside and, you know, do something that I'm not used to. So I haven't really thought about it like that.
So for all you guys, what's the biggest difference between last year's team and this year's team as far as strategy, culture?
The culture hasn't changed at all. You know, we still love basketball here, and we're just looking forward to taking another step forward this year. We know not many people respect us, but, you know, that's fine. We've had 2 losing seasons, and we're going to come in this year and earn our respect. But as far as strategy, I think last year at the forward position, we had a lot more penetration from Ovi. This year, I think with Damo and LG, it's more of a shooting at the forward position. So the offense has changed a little bit. You know, we got putting the ball in Micah's hands more because of how he shot the ball last year, and teams are going to adjust to that. So the strategy has changed a little bit, but the culture is still the same.
And Micah, Coach Ferry said that you're going to be playing more point guard this year, something we'd heard at the end of last year. How have you accepted that, and how's that transition going?
It's been pretty well. I played point guard in high school and at Drake University. But last year was the first time in a little bit that I actually played 2 guards, so I think that I can fill in the role pretty easily.
DC, has it kind of been nice to you to go back to a shooting guard role rather than a point guard role?
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I don't got to have the ball in my hands a lot, but I get to move around a lot and search for my shot now.
Is this something you guys toyed around with at all last year when you guys flipping roles, or is it kind of just this summer that you switched over?
I think more this summer we switched over. it's still the same mentality that whoever gets it goes. If the opposite team misses a shot and DC gets the rebound, I'm running the lane, and so, same thing for if I get the rebound. So.
Coach pointed out that well, Evan will talk about your 3-point shooting, your a great assist man too. Is that something that you take pride in that not a lot of people notice?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously I'm known as a shooter, but I like when people notice a little bit different things about my game. So.
We didn't see you do any alley-oops off the backboard though, so.
Yeah, no, that's what DC does.
All right.
Derrick, Jim talked a little bit about what you've been through health-wise in the past few months. Are you at this point, is it all in remission? Are you doing well? And can you just tell us how you're doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. My energy came back, my wind coming up, so I'm doing good. I'm like 95%. I just want to keep getting better and keep working with my team, man.
What was the experience like for you? Can you just take us through it?
It's like, I don't know, cause it was simple. It just every night you go to the hospital every day during the daytime, and like you lay down, and they put this little beam behind your neck for like 10 minutes, and then after that you get to leave and go home. And then some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll be like, all right, I want to work out, I want to play. But it's different days. You just up and down, and then that's all I can say. It was up and down.
Was it scary at first?
Yeah, I was nervous.
I
And
would
then
imagine.
all I was thinking about was my brother, and that just gave me more confidence in myself. And I was like, okay, I can do it. I'm good now. And I stayed in the gym, and I was straight.
Will it affect you at all this season, or is it something you can put behind you?
I'm putting it behind me. Stay focused on my team.
As his teammates, what was your reaction when Coach Ferry shared the news with you guys about what he was going through?
We were all shocked as a team, but I think it brought us closer together as a family. To be there for a teammate when he's going through something. It's just like, I wouldn't compare it to facing adversity in a basketball game, but that's because it's bigger than basketball, just facing adversity, period. And you're going to face adversity in life, and, he overcame it, and, we're happy about that.
Did it bring the team closer together in a way?
I think it did. Just knowing that someone is going through something, you always want to be there for him. And, DC is one of the toughest guys on this team, so he didn't want people feeling sorry for him and stuff like that, so we try not to do that. But at the same time, just be there for him.
Derrick, you seem like a private person that doesn't like tell people all the problems. Was it tough to open up about it when you were sharing the news?
Yeah, I ain't want to tell nobody. But then Coach said it'd be better to help out because you can help other people. So I said I'd do it, and we just did it.
What kind of reaction did you get after the story comes out? It's a very big story in the college basketball world.
A lot of phone calls, a lot of messages. Everybody calling me saying they're proud of me, and they didn't know I was going through all that. They said you're a tough kid and all that. But it was cool, man. I'm very humble. I don't really care about it. I just want to play basketball. That's all I want to do.
Have you been involved with any cancer charities or hospitals?
Yeah,
or
we went to one hospital with the team. Some of the players, and we saw them kids' faces and all that. Some of them was doing bad. So some okay. It's like they'd be so happy they can switch places with us, but it's all good.
Your prognosis going forward? What have doctors told you?
They said every 3 months I gotta go do a checkup, and then I went last 2 months ago. 2 months ago. They said it was all gone, so now I gotta wait. Till February or January, and I go back and they check again and see if it came back or not. So I wait and see, and I'll let y'all know.
Is that nervous at all? Just in between checkups?
Yeah, but right now I'm feeling good, so I think it's really gone. So
Good.
that's a good thing.
You saw LG play a little bit this summer in the summer league, and he looks like a completely different guy. He wasn't here today, but apparently he is impressing. A coach that he's kind of penciled in the starting lineup right now, at least right there. What have you guys seen from him that maybe is different from his first year?
I think mainly confidence, honestly. He's filling a different role. He's coming into practice, shooting the ball when he's open. He's not thinking about he's just playing his game instead of thinking about it. And I think that's really been helping him so far. Obviously his body changed. He's just growing up, getting a year of experience. He's gonna be tough this year.
Is this team going to play a little different without, Ovi kind of slowed things down at times, to get him involved? Will this team play differently this year, the lineup you have?
I think so. I think you're going to see a lot more unselfish basketball. Just being a point guard and being in practice right now, just the way the ball is moving just seemed a lot different this year than it did last year. So that's the good thing, and hopefully we can continue that into the season.
You guys lost Jerry Jones, and you guys know my favorite Jerry Jones moment was at the George Mason game when he was messing with the marching band. If you guys remember that moment at all, but you kind of lost somebody who made things lighthearted, and you kind of lost something like that. Is there somebody on the team who kind of provides that same sense of humor and kind of makes games fun?
We've got a lot of jokesters on the team. I got two of them sitting right here next to me. I know you guys might not think that these guys are goofy, but a lot of my teammates are goofy. So Jerry did bring that energy about him, and he gave the team a life. But we have plenty of guys that'll do that. So, but we'll definitely miss Jerry.
You guys are only working with 11 scholarship guys this year, but especially you guys have been here 2 years. Coach says the depth feels better. Is it just guys are getting bigger, guys are have another year experience? Because only 11 guys, you think that the depth would be a little bit worse.
Yeah, I think the depth has gotten better. There's more talent as far as 1 to 12. I think we can actually play 10 guys this year. Last year at the 4 position we were a little short because we had talent, but the experience wasn't there all the time. And this year, I think with Damo and LG, and then we've got Ty and Jordan also. I know they don't have experience, but they're talented young kids, and I think that they can come in and help us on the inside. And the same thing for the guards. We've got experience at the guard positions as well. So part of it is experience, but the depth has gotten better.
And what kind of boost does it give you for first team offense to be going against the 2 redshirt guys who obviously are pretty talented guys who are sitting out the year?
It's definitely a lot better this year. More competition in practice. You can tell a difference. I think we're getting better each day because of the players on the opposite side on the red team.
Micah and Jeremiah, as leaders on this team this year, how did you deal with what happened in June, and how did the team deal with what instantly you guys were in, and how did you guys move forward from that?
It was a silly mistake. People make mistakes all the time. Of course, it got blown up a little bit because we're Duquesne basketball players, but, we've learned from it. It actually made us both better people and better leaders for our team because we understand that the younger guys look up to us, and, they look to us for leadership. We faced a little adversity, we overcame it, and we're ready to move forward.
You guys are all juniors, so you have this season and next season to keep building this foundation. Taking it one day at a time, where do you guys want to be at the end of this season and as seniors at the end of next season? Or what are some long-term goals?
Well, to be honest, I'm not going to shortchange us. We want to win a championship every year. So the goal is to win a championship this year, and the goal will be to win a championship next year. And it's just as simple as that. We want to get back to the NCAA tournament, and, we want to be Atlantic 10 champions.
After a busy summer, if you guys can entertain me, you have a scrimmage Saturday that you're not supposed to talk about, so you don't need to say the opponent. We can guess it already. But what's one thing each of you guys wants to, see out on the court? Is it just being happy to be out there, or what's something you're looking to see on Saturday?
I'm just excited to go against another team. This is kind of the worst part of the year, playing against each other and not getting to actually play against an opponent. So I'm excited about that.
The one thing I want to see is disposition and toughness that Coach talks about all the time, because we're going to need that to win. We have the talent, but every good team in our conference has a disposition and a toughness about them, and you can see that in VCU, you can see it in GW, you can see it in St. Louis, and we're going to need that early to start winning.
Derrick and Jeremiah, you guys have both been here 3 years now. Do you feel a difference in year 3 of this program? I mean, do you see it heading somewhere?
Definitely. We've definitely taken steps forward from last year as well as the first year. And, you know, the coaches have been on us even more. They expect more out of us now than they have in the past 2 years. So definitely taking steps forward, and Coach is ready to get this thing rolling now. You know, he's got all his guys in here. Me and Derrick being the only two from freshman year. We had Ovi last year, but of course he graduated, and you know, Coach expects a lot out of us, leadership-wise, basketball-wise, you know, so we're just ready to contribute to what he wants to do and get this thing rolling.
That it, please, guys? All right, thank you. I appreciate you taking the
Please.
conversation.